Well, so today I discuss the character computation and the hardware computation for other groups. So far we have discussed the SUN group now, SO2N, SO2N plus 1, and the symplectic group. So these are basically connected compact groups. And once we finish this part, so the discussion for the connected compact groups will be done. And then we'll move to the, the non-compact groups. So for the SO2N plus 1, the rank, so we have already discussed briefly about this group. And so the SO2N plus 1 and the SO2N, both group have rank N, that means maximum number of diagonal generators. Right? So the wild character formula of SO2N plus 1 can be given in this particular form. Okay, so this is unlike the previous one. And here M is the Euler representation of some SO2N plus 1. So as we have noticed earlier, this denominator part is once you know the capital N, which is the rank of the SO2N plus 1, then you can compute this, the denominator, which is the very similar to the Van Diamond determinant. But now, if you have to compute the numerator, we need to understand how to calculate the R i's for a given representation. So here, the epsilon i's are again being obtained by inspecting the matrix from the maximal torus of SO2N plus 1. The maximum torus can be written in this particular matrix form. It's a 2n plus 1 by 2n plus 1 matrix. And now if we focus on this every 2 by 2 block, these are like a, SO2 kind of rotations, right? So that can be written in diagonal form and can be diagonalized as, in terms of e to the power I theta I, e to the minus I theta I. So here the epsilons are basically e to the power I theta I, basically representing the z's of the earlier case of the SUN. So the unit radius circle in the polar coordinate. So then we find this 2n plus 1 number of parameters in epsilon I inverse, and 1, where I runs from 1 to n. So then the numerator part can be written in terms of more expanded form in this way, and the denominator is the Van Diamond determinant is the usual form. But this nomenclature is basically very similar what we have seen in the earlier case. Okay. Now we have to calculate the RIs. So before that, we need to calculate the Cartan matrix. So as we have noticed earlier, if we go back to the chapter where we have discussed, the Dynkin diagrams and the Dynkin levels in fluids for the SO2N plus 1, then you'll see the Cartan matrix is given as n by n matrix in this particular form. And this is very similar to the SUN, but now the last element is basically the difference. Basically the single line, they are the last two blocks are connected by the two lines, right? Okay. So here we have to first identify what is the lowest dimension of fundamental representation of SO2N plus 1, and more specifically its Dynkin level. Okay, so the Dynkin level is given like 1, 0, and the n tuple, because the rank is n, so n number of entries are there. Now we can calculate this L2, L3, and so on up to this Ln by subtracting, this alpha i's root one by one systematically. And that's what has been done here. The method is, we can see the same. The entries are different, but the method is basically the same. That's important here. And that's the importance of this method. It's actually unifying for all the for all the compact groups. So once you understand the method, you should be able to compute this thing for all the different kind of compact groups. Okay. So now once we know some representation corresponding to SO2N plus 1, and its Dynkin level is uniquely identified as, let's say, A1, A2 up to this AN, then we can write it down in this particular form, and then we can invert this and write down the lambdas in terms of the AIs. Okay, and then R equal to lambda plus rho. But here the rho is basically defined in a different way compared to the SUN, which is n minus I plus half. Okay, so now we know the lambda for even representation, we know the rho for this given group, so we can calculate all the RIs. Now what is the hard measure? So hard measure is basically this, in this way you can define. So this is 2 pi to the power n, to the power n factor is the normalizations in the thing, and then you have the delta d epsilon L by epsilon L, and this is the Van Diamond determinant with epsilon, and the Van Diamond determinant with epsilon inverse. So once you plug in back, you can calculate the hard measure. Now let's see some explicit example for SO7. So it's basically rank is 3. Okay, so you can write it down in delta epsilon. If you see how to define this thing, it's n minus half and then this thing, right? So in this way, if we define, so say n equal to 3, so 3 minus half is basically 5 by 2. That's starting from 5 by 2, and then gradually decrease by 1 unit, and so on. So we can calculate this thing, and we plug in back, and we get this Hermezar for this SO7. And now we have to calculate, let's say, character. So now SO7, the fundamental representation is 7-dimensional, and its Drinking level is 1, 0, 0. Again, the thing that we need to focus here, and that is a rank 3 group, so the 3 entries will be there. Okay. So the lambda we can define using this 2.48 equation like this. We can invert using this AIs, okay, and then we can calculate them. So these are like A's, right? For this given represents A1, A2, A3. You can think of this way, and then we get the lambda 1, 0, 0, since rho equal to 5 by 2, 3 by 2 half, because rho is defined like n minus, also 3 minus 1 minus 1 plus half, and so on. It will be computed. So we get this thing. So now what we have to do, we have to calculate the r. R is lambda plus rho. So we get the r, and we plug in back r here. So we get this numerator, and then the denominator. You can calculate the character of the 7-dimensional representation of SO7 in this particular form. Now for the SO7, the spinor representation 8. So this is known, right? Because rank is 3, so spinorial representation will be 2 to the power rank, so 2 to the power 3. That is 8-dimensional, and it's the Drinking level is 0, 0, 1, and you calculate this lambda here, and r is given like this. So you can plug it back here. Now this, so this is very interesting structure. Now the square root of all these functions is there, right? So this is a new kind of structures, unlike the previous one. And similarly, we can calculate the adjoint representation for 21 and so on. So I'm not discussing again repeatedly again this thing, but I believe that you should be able to verify this thing. And again, SO9, the rank is 4, so it will start with 4 minus up, so 7 by 2. So, and that's why it's going like this. It has a fundamental representation 9, okay, and the spinor representation is 16, because rank is 4, so to the power 4, right? So that's why the spinor represents 16, and rank is 4, so it's like a 4 tuple set. So you calculate like this, and you get this different. And so lots of examples are given here. That's a nice way to verify this thing. Now let's coming back to the SO2N. So SO2N, unlike the SO2N plus 1, it needs a special attention because it's actually because it has a double character, simple and double character. Okay. So first we have to calculate two character functions. What is they are symbolized as C and S, and they are defined in this particular form. Okay. So for lambda, when the lambda n equal to 0, then the character is given simply by the C function. Okay, so you can understand this. So we'll see this example later. But if the lambda n is not equal to 0, then the simple character computation is redefined as a average of C and S. So here the the Tn is written as in this 2n by 2n matrix. Okay, and this like again you can parameterize this in terms of the diagonal theta by I theta to the minus I theta I, and which is again redefined as the epsilons. So you can write down numerator and denominator in this particular form for two different cases. And for the SO2n, and if you look into in the Dynkin diagram, then you will see the last two elements and two blobs are not connected. Rather, the penalty, the third last one, and the last one are connected by this thing. So you can focus on this blob. Okay, so looking to the Dynkin diagram, you should be able to write down the Cartan matrix. So once you write down the Cartan matrix, you get this thing, and each row represent the alpha i's. So the game is similar. We identify the lowest dimensional fundamental representation, and its Dynkin level is given like 1, 0, 0, 0, 0 n tuple, and then we subtract alpha i's one by one. Then we get construct all the weight tree. Okay, in this particular form, and once we get the weight tree for any given representation whose Dynkin level is given this a1 to an can be written in this particular form. We invert the relation, and then we write down the lambdas in terms of the AIs. Okay, and then r equal lambda plus rho, here rho equal to n minus I. Okay, and this is unlike the SO2n plus 1. So again, here the Haar measure is basically 2 pi to the power n, and this is 2n minus 1 n factorial, and then the Van Damon product of these two determinant. One is function of epsilon, another is function of epsilon inverse, and we get the Haar measure. For example, let's start with the SO8. Okay, so SO8 rank is 4. So it will start with, the rho equal to 4 minus 1. So it's like starting with the cube. So we get this determinant, and we can compute this thing. So we get the Haar measure. Now, here, interestingly, for the SO4, for the SO8, there are two representations of dimension 8. One is the fundamental representation of Dynkin level 1, 0, 0, 0. Another is the spinel representation of Dynkin level 0, 0, 0, 1. So, but difference is basically if you take the lambda values. The lambda values are different if you calculate. Okay, but the rho will be exactly the same because this is the characteristic of the group. So you can calculate the R, and the R's are different here, and you calculate the R here, and you put it back for the fundamental representation. This is the character, but it's the dimension is the same, but the character is different. Now see here, the lambda is n equal to non-zero. The difference basically the lambda here, the lambda n equal to 0, here the lambda n equal to non-zero. So as I mentioned earlier, if the lambda n equal to 0, then the character would be just defined by the C function. So that's why we calculate the C function here, and that's what we is the character of the representation. But here, because lambda n is not equal to 0, so we have to calculate the C function as well as the S function of the characters. Okay, and then separately calculate C and S in this particular way. And once we do that, the character would be the average of that thing, and that's what is given like in this particular form. Now there's another representation, which is the conjugate spinor representation. Here also the Dynkin dimension is 8, but the Dynkin level is 0, 0, 1, 0. So we have to calculate this C and S both because lambda n is not equal to 0, and the character with the average of this thing. So in this way, again, for if you go to the adjoint representation lambda n, if you calculate lambda n equal to 0, you'll find out, and then it will be defined by the C function only, and so on. So in this way, depending on the characteristic of the representation and the Dynkin level, and then derived value for the lambda, we have to identify which formula you have to use, C or C average of C plus S. Okay, next. So now there's another compared group of our interest is symplectic group, which is known as SP20. Its rank is n, and the wild character given in this particular form in this way, and the torus, maximum torus is given in the matrix form as the n by n by theta 1 by theta 2 and so on. Okay, and the denominator is given in this particular way. And looking at the Dynkin diagram of the SP2n, we get this is the this thing. This is just look at the SO2n plus 1. The arrow of the double line will be different, right? There's a -2, -1 here, but here in this particular case it's a -1 here and -2 there. So the some change in the direction of the arrow will be different. Otherwise, the number of blobs and all those things will be exactly the same. This is the fundamental lowest dimension fundamental representations Dynkin level, and then you subtract all these alphas gradually. You get the weight tree. Once you get the weight tree, you pick up any representation in terms of the AI's Dynkin level. You invert them, you get the relation, and then similarly plug in back, you calculate the Haar measure. Okay, and then for example, let's say you calculate the SP4. Let's say for the SP4, it's a rank 2, so it's a 2 tuple element lambda. If you calculate, you get 1, 0. So you don't know the rho equal to 2, 1 because n minus I. So you get this thing R, and once you get the R, you plug it back and you get this thing. Now this is much more simpler thing. Similarly, you can calculate for the SP6 and so other representations here. Okay, so I'm not going to discuss this thing in detail because it is repetitive, the same thing, and you should be able to calculate this character function, the Haar measure for different groups. Okay, so this is actually encompasses the this discussion about the how to calculate the characters and the Haar measure for the given representation of particular groups, and also for the compact groups specifically. We have not discussed yet how to calculate this thing for the non-compact groups. We do not know as of now, and we will also have a hands-on session actually, and discussion using a Mathematica notebook file where we have actually developed a program, okay, where you can give the Dynkin level and the name of the group, we should be able to calculate the Harmaser and this thing. So how to we have automatized these things? So we'll discuss this part, because for the realistic calculation it's better to avoid my my manual computation that make some mistake. So yeah, so we'll discuss that thing in a separate video.